Cedarburg Cultural Center would like to welcome Cindy Mich as a December Artist in Residence. Thanks for being with us here, Cindy.
Thank you very much for having me, Jeanette.
You're welcome. Can you start by telling us a little bit about what you do and what the focus of your current work is?
Well, I think the focus of all of my work from the moment I started becoming an artist was all very literary in nature. I don't know how to draw, I don't know how to paint, I don't know how to do anything but write. I discovered that when I was about 15 or 16 years old, and I started out just doing simple things, news media, things like that, and I kind of eventually branched out. I've done some poetry, I've done some children's books, I'm now into treatments and sizzles, and now I'm actually to the production stage where we can do pretty little things like television shows and documentaries and short stories.
All right. So who or what are your inspirations, and what is it about the literary arts that excites you?
My inspirations, let's see, my very first English teacher, because without Nan Roddy I would have never entered that first contest, and I would have never won that, and I never would have given me the confidence to do what I do right now. Judy Blume is my favorite author, still my favorite author, by the way. Stephen King's an inspiration because I want him to quit his job, because if he doesn't, I'll never get anywhere, so if he ever sees this, you need to retire it now. The thing I've discovered over writing for 20 years is that when I first started, I wrote for me. I wrote because it was my passion, and it made me feel pretty, and it made me feel smart, and it made me feel adequate. And now I'm finding that the cycle has kind of come full circle. I don't necessarily write for me as much anymore, but everything that I write has a purpose, it has a meaning, and it has an inspiration for usually everyone else.
Wow. So what kind of career preparation did you have to pursue to do that?
Well, you know, in the beginning I decided I was going to go to UWM, and then these beautiful little things called children came along. So then eventually it came down to I could either have this great journalistic career and I could go to school and try to cram in a husband and kids. And then I decided, no, the kids were far more important. So I figured out a way, because I'm smart enough and I'm creative enough to where I could actually work around it. So I just eventually started self-publishing. Then eventually I went to the news media, they would publish me. And then over time you just kind of learn tricks of the trade. And I got fortunate. Once I got into radio, I got great connections and people that I could associate with that knew more about publication than me. And voila, here we are, 45 years of age, at the Cultural Center doing what I love, and it's awesome.
So how do you view your role in society as an artist today?
Well, you know, I'm not big on labels. I think that I would want any individual who's ever come in contact with me, there's only really 3 reasons why you should ever meet me. To understand that I do what I do because I have a love for it, but moreover because every part of my life has passion in it now, and I think that's an exorbitantly important thing that people miss. So I want people to understand that I do what I do because I love it. I do what I do not because I get paid very well for it, but because I believe in it so much, and I believe the power of the written word has immeasurable value to other people. So I want people to look at me as some kind of a hippie freak who basically gets paid nothing, who has great heart value to what she does.
It sounds like a lot of artists. So what do you consider some of your greatest successes along the way, and at the same time, what have been some of the greatest obstacles?
I think the greatest obstacle for any writer is the moment that someone says, your work isn't good enough for us, it's not good enough, period, or it's not what we're looking for. Rejection of any kind is always very hard for us. I don't have much of an ego, but the fact that they don't like me makes me want to know why, makes me work harder. I think it's a struggle to, at my age, still feel like I'm competing with someone half my age. I think it's a struggle that there's so many people in the same field that are so competitive and so cold natured to each other instead of being supportive. I think probably my greatest success is oftentimes when people say, I read something that you wrote and it touched me, or it moved me, or it made me cry, or it had some form of emotion. My last book is probably my best book that I've ever done. And now the fact that my children want to do something relative to arts, that's probably the top.
Wonderful. And how do you continue to challenge yourself as an artist?
Well, I'm bipolar. That doesn't really help, but what it does do is it not only enhances my creativity, but it lends itself to answer your question, which is bipolars always need 150 things on our plate. So just when I think that I have enough and I can't keep up, I challenge myself to take on another writing, you know, either a contest, or else I take on another project, I write another treatment, another sizzle, or I actually have gotten to a point where I actually want to start co-authoring with other individuals. So I want to get to all spans before I am deceased.
So what are your dreams and plans for the future as it creates or it relates to your career in the literary arts?
In a perfect world, 2015 will allow me to do every documentary that I've written, which are 2 of them. It would allow me to do my comedic short film. It would allow me to do one silent film, which my children can be a part of. It'll also allow me to go back to all 3 of my radio shows. In a perfect world, I'll continue being a radio show host, which allows me to write every day. And I'll continue to put out quality pieces of work that I can eventually take the proceeds back and give it to charity. Because of course I have family members that are sick. So for me it's very, very important to do that. And of course obviously get to the side of things where I'm going to continue to mentor and teach.
Well, it's been a great experience in having you here this month. Thanks again for being with us.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.